Okay. Find the domain of f of x when it's the sum of these two functions. Well, it seems like we have two restrictions. So first thing that you should notice when you solve this question is that there are two restrictions. One restriction is that whatever this is, it has to be what? Positive or 0. Can't be negative. Okay. There's another restriction here. What is it? 2x minus 3 cannot be 0. Okay. So to find the domain, what you need to do is to write down the restriction first. Okay. We need 4 minus x squared non-negative and 2x minus 3 not equal to 0. Any value of x that violates either this or that will be out. You can't plug it into this machine. It's going to break the machine. Okay. Now, imagine yourself first day at your job. You're given this software that you can use. Then you're told, don't break this. It's going to cost company millions of dollars, right? So to figure that out, you have to figure out whether this is okay and that's okay. Right? Yes?
What do you do with the 5?
Okay. Right now, our goal is not to break the function. We're not trying to solve this equation. We're just trying to find out values that you can plug in. Okay. So we're only looking at the weak spots of this big machinery. Okay. Where are the weak spots? This has to be positive or 0. This right now, this is a fraction. Whenever you have a fraction, are you allowed to have 0 in the denominator? No. So 2x minus 3 cannot be 0. Those are the two requirements I'm doing. Okay. See, a lot of times you've done so many algebra problems. You feel like in math you just have to solve equations. But you know, as it gets more complicated, there's definitely a step where you have to think. Okay. Without thinking, you can't just blindly see something and say, oh, let's solve this. That's not how math works. Okay. Right now we are at the pre-calculus, and in pre-calculus you have to use logic to actually solve it. Of course, still the skills involved is solving equations, but to get to the equations you need to think, right? Okay, so first of all, let's try this one. Now this thing has, this is a difference of 2 squares, right? 2 squared minus x squared. What's the formula for factoring difference of 2 squares? If you have a squared minus b squared, you get? No, that's Pythagorean theorem. A squared minus b squared is? A minus b times a plus b. Yeah, a plus b times a minus b, right? So it's 2 plus x, 2 minus x. Okay. So I know that this factor is like that. When does this become 0? When does this become 0? 2. When x is 2, this becomes 0. When does this become 0? Negative 2. So you have either negative 2 or positive 2. That's when this will become 0. And of course, you can just plug in it to see that, right? Negative 2 squared is positive 4. 4 minus 4 will be 0. Right? Now you have to pick test points. Pick a 0, pick 3, negative 3, or 10 is fine too. Now when you plug in 0, what do you get? 4 minus 0 squared. Is that okay? 4 minus 0 squared, what's that?
4.
4. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's great.
It's greater or equal to 0, so that's a check. Okay. Let's plug in 3. 4 minus 3 squared. Is that okay? No. No good, because 4 minus 9 will be negative 5, so that's a no-no. Negative 3. Again, no good, because negative 3 squared is positive 9, so you have 4 minus 9, which is negative, so that's a no-no. All right, so what do you see? Your x should be between negative 2 until 2. That's what this first requirement is saying. Does that make sense? Yeah, your x can only be here. what if you're outside this interval, then you're going to break this thing because it's not going to produce an output. Right? Okay. How about this one? Well, you have to figure out what number will be actually the bad one. Okay. So we want to know when it's actually equal to 0. Add a 3 both sides. Divide by 2. We got x equal to 3 over 2. So, do we want x to be 3 over 2? Is that what we want? Do we want x equal to 3 over 2? No, because that's the one that will make this denominator equal to 0, and you're in trouble if you do that, right? So that's the no good value. So really what you want is you don't want x to be 3 over 2. Okay, now it's like putting this warning sign in front of the machinery. So you put warning, x should be only between -2 to 2 inclusive. The endpoints are okay. However, there's another warning. But if your x is 3 over 2, then you're in trouble. Do not put 3 over 2. Even if this belongs in here, that's a no good value. Okay. Now, what's a better way to write these two things together? So you have to know somehow to put these two things together to write down a coherent answer for the domain, and this is how you do it. Your domain is from -2 to +2, inclusive, but there's a point that's not allowed. What is it? 1.5. It's 1.5, right? 3 over 2, 1.5. That's right before here. So this point right here is 3 over 2. That's illegal. Okay. So your answer is like this. Everything before 3 over 2 up till -2, fine, all good. Everything after 3 over 2 until 2, fine, all good. But 3 over 2 is no good. Right? Now, tell me how many intervals you get. How many intervals do you get? 2. Okay. So what's the first interval? -2 to 3 over 2. Not including 3 over 2 because you have to skip it. And the other ones? 3 over 2, 2. Union. Okay. That's the domain.